Now, women's reactions for this. Women started to believe that these are the ideals of women. They strongly believe that as a woman, we have to be like this only. We are born to be like this only. What are they compulsory for them? Because the air they breathe, the education they received, the literature they read, everything symbolizes them to be as an ideal woman. As a woman, we are born, so we naturally get pains. We have to suffer pains. We have to have a small waist. That is compulsory to be as a womanly nature. And we should be attractive, so we have to put on corset. So these all are imbibed in every young child as they are young. They are being imbibed into their brains that they have to be like this only. They should not allow the body to grow freely. They have to put them dressed in tight dresses so that they look thin, slim. Now, in 1830s, women start to agitate on the democratic lines. They want equal movement with the men. They want equal right to vote with men. So the suffrage movement started. At the same time, many of the young women gave the complaints that they are ill. The blood circulation is getting blocked and they are having acute weaknesses. Some felt languished and fainted. So all these are also the effects of the tightly dressed corsets, and the spine is also getting weakened. Ultimately, they come up to a solution saying that because the spine is weakened, now we need corset to hold that. So it is not positively taken. Yes, women are taking it positively, but biologically they are facing many problems. Their body is having many pains because they are dressed like that. They were tied up so tightly that blood circulation cannot go freely and the body cells cannot grow. So these all started to restrict their growth. So these are the negative effects of the tight dressing in women. Now, how was the reaction in America? We will find out now. Women's reaction in United States of America, that is on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Feminine clothes which are very long skirts objected, or it's very difficult for the women because they are very voluminous and difficult to hold them, and they prevent the women working and earning something. They also believed that if women's dress is shortened, short skirts were implemented and these corsets are abandoned, then women can work and earn her livelihood and she can be independent. But it was not accepted. In 1870s, the National Women's Suffrage Association, headed by Mrs. Stanton, and American Women's Suffrage Association, headed by Lukey Stone, both fought for the dress reforms. So they asked for the shorten of the skirts and to abandon the corsets. If these two are done, women can work freely and can earn her livelihood and she can be independent. But they received very strong opposition from the revolutionaries or the conservatives who are present there. They criticize that if woman is not dressed in tight and she doesn't look beautiful, then she loses her femininity and it is a big blow for the womanhood. So with this severe criticism, many of them went back to their traditional dressing style. But as the time passed on in the early 19th century, the new ideas started to breathe in and the new values started to come in. Now the look, because of the clothes, started to give a fade off, because it is not the matter of clothes that gives the beauty. It is the internal beauty and the comfort of the people that makes them to live happily. So now it is though it got initial rejection, later it got accepted and people started to have new ideas, new values, acceptance started to gain ground. The new times, with the availability of new material and new technologies in British, it has become possible for the new changes in the dressing style. What are the reasons that made them to accept the new changes? That is, the world wars, the two world wars made the women to work compulsory. So the necessity of the women to work made them to dress according to their convenience. So the working conditions of the women, these two are the main facilitating factors. Moving further ahead, in 17th century, most of the women used the cloth made of flax, linen and wool, which was very difficult to wash and to maintain. And as the time passed on in the 16th century ending, where they got the contacts of the trade with the India for the Britishers, now they got a cloth which is cheap, beautiful and easy to maintain, that is Indian Chintex. These Indian Chintex are actually looking at the impact. The wardrobes of the European countries women started to grow their size because these are very beautiful, very attractive for them, and very convenient and very easy to wash. Then in the 20th century, the artificial fibers, which started to be more cheaper and easy to wash, added to their easy dressing style. In 1870s, there was heavy restriction in the underclothes which are worn by them, but later slowly they are being discarded, and now we got replaced with lighter, shorter and simpler undergarment clothes. And later we also have in 1914, the skirt length was up to the ankle. Till the medieval period also we have seen that one. But from 1915, the hemline of the skirt started to rise up to the mid calf. So how these all changes are possible? We will check. War. Why the sudden changes happened for the dressing styles of women? We can check, that is here. Women were actually giving up the attitude of wearing jewelry and the luxurious clothes. The upper class women started to give up the attitude of wearing the jewelry and the luxury clothes. Why? Because they also now started to live up with the normal middle class people. They started to mix up themselves with the other society groups. Because of the world war, many of them need to work. Many of them economy came down. Many of their assets values came down. So now they need to survive, so they need to work. Clothes became very shorter during the World War I period of 1914 to 1918. You can see an example here. In 1917, 7 lakh women were appointed in the ammunition factory, where their uniforms were blouse and a trouser with a scarf, and later that got replaced with a khaki uniform and caps. So it has been necessary to make the dress code plainer and simpler. The new schools which came in the 20th century started to inculcate the attitude of plain and austere style. This austere style of living is necessary because in the new schools, from the childhood onwards, they started to teach to be plain, simple and no to ornamentation, no wearing up of the ornaments. So like this, women are now taking part with the games and sports. So the clothing should not be a restriction for the women to participate in the games and sports. So with this we can understand that the history of clothing is directly connected with the history of the society. How the dominant groups of the society used to portray their culture and ideas through the dressing style.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.